the Chase, Maryland collision in 1987, the people of Maryland thought they've seen the last train collision. However, 51 miles down south, disaster struck again. On February 16, 1996,
and his 22K, an oil train, was leaving Chester Yard around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The train consisted of engine 7524 and a couple of oil cars. However, there were no hoppers in between the cars, so they couldn't risk a derailment, especially an oil train, because accidents like the Atlantic rail incident, where a train derailed and destroyed a whole town, or the Waiwega derailment, where a couple train cars derailed and there was a huge risk of a oblivion or boiling liquid vapor explosion. As the train was approaching downtown, there was a corner. Thankfully, it wasn't sharp, so the train was able to go around it. And the train was also going full throttle, around like 60 to 65. The train is able to go faster, but around a corner, it goes slower. And it was now approaching the small area of Chester. But before that, it had to pass the industrial area. As the train was approaching Chester, the small area, the driver thought, it'll be fine. But he was wrong. As the train was approaching, a track wasn't fixed right, and then it happened. The train derails around 6 o'clock. Because spill everywhere, leaving oil and fire. Engine 7524 was buried between two cars and debris. Another train, an normal train, had to pass slowly and reported the accident as the engineer was too injured and had to get out of there. A couple of tank cars derailed, not only blocking a road, but also blocking a parking lot where engine 7524 was. People there had to evacuate as they could not risk all the toxic air getting to them, having more people killed. Unfortunately, there were cars right there, so 11 people died. But how did this happen? Well, apparently there was a broken track, and it was similar to an accident earlier when an Amtrak train derailed due to a broken track, and that killed 20 people. And it's clear these broken tracks aren't being repaired properly, because if they were, accidents like these wouldn't happen. And that investigation was launched by the FBI. Why the FBI? Well, you see, those chemicals that train was carrying, apparently it wasn't crude oil. It was top secret, and it cannot be released to the public, even in this documentary. Trains nowadays are aware of broken switches, and dispatch can monitor them on the main screen. They can send people to fix stuff and order the train to a stop. This accident was back then, so they didn't have the technology. They did have positive train control, however, that was to alert if the train was speeding, and it did not detect the broken track. We hope accidents like these never happen. However, there is a chance, a small chance, if they could happen again. But until then, hope. Let's just hope it doesn't. In the end, engine 7524 was repaired and put back into service today. However, those tank cars were definitely scrapped. It's been a while since the train crash. Really only a week or two. But now we can all just sit back and relax. Or can we?